Hi, I'm Kelley Geller. Today we're going to be making honey pot de crème. Literally, it means cream pots in French, and though it may sound fancy, these little custards are as easy as they are elegant. Let's get started. We're going to start by bringing our honey to a simmer on the stove in a stainless steel saucepan. We're going to add our milk and our cream and just whisk them in. We're also going to add a little bit of kosher salt. It's not going to make this dish particularly salty, but it is going to round out all the flavors so they come together nicely. Turn up the heat a little and bring this just up to a simmer. And as that heats up, I'm going to throw in a vanilla bean. Usually when you use vanilla beans in recipes, you're going to break them open and you're going to scrape the little seeds out from the center. However, what I discovered making this recipe a couple times in a row was that all those little seeds, because this custard is loose when it goes into the ramekins into the oven, all those little seeds end up sinking to the bottom of the pot. So all I want to do is leave the pot intact and use it to infuse flavor into the custard. So that's going to go right in, and we're going to bring this up to a simmer. Not a heavy boil, just a simmer. We're just going to scald the cream mixture. Okay, we can see that we're starting to form bubbles just around the edge of the pan, and that's pretty much all we want. We just want it to be hot enough, like a cup of tea, to infuse that flavor. So now I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to cover it, and we're going to let that steep for 20 minutes to really infuse that vanilla flavor into the custard. Okay, we've finished our infusion step, so we're going to take our cream mixture off the stove, and we're actually going to take our vanilla bean out. And we're going to reserve this for a future use. Just be careful for the heat. You can rinse this off and you can air dry it. You can throw it in a container of sugar and infuse your sugar with a vanilla flavor, or you can just simply air dry it and use it for a later recipe. Once you've mastered this step of infusion, you can do just about anything. If you wanted to make a tea-scented pot de crème, you could add a couple tablespoons of tea. You could add a tablespoon of citrus zest and make an orange-scented pot de crème. So this is a great technique, a great starting off point when you want to experiment. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our cream mixture to our egg yolks. We're going to add a little sugar to the egg yolks. The honey is sweet enough in this recipe, but we add a little sugar to the egg yolks just to help protect them from the heat as we add this hot cream mixture. So we're going to whisk these in. We're not going to hit these egg yolks with all the hot cream mixture at once because we don't want to scramble them. So we're going to introduce a little at a time. Whisk that in. A little trick, you can put your bowl on a towel to keep it from jiggling around on you. Okay, and once you've got a lot of that cream in there and you've tempered the egg yolks, which just means bringing them up to temperature, you can liberally add in the rest. Okay, great. Okay, and what we're going to do here, see, we've got a lot of foam from the whisking action. We don't want too much foam on the top of the custard because it creates a little bit of a skin when it bakes. What we're actually going to do is we're going to strain through to get rid of some of the foam, and then we're going to skim a little bit as we go or as we need to. So now we're going to add these into our ramekins, and all I've done is I've taken a baking pan. You can use a roasting pan if you have it, a glass baking dish, whatever's convenient, and just take a kitchen towel and you're going to line the pan with a kitchen towel. This prevents the ramekins from sliding around because this custard is still pretty loose and you don't want it to slosh out on the way to the oven. So just to keep things simple, I'm going to ladle. Start with almost 2 per. And you just want to evenly divide the mixture among the ramekins. So we're ready to go in the oven. We're going to bake these little custards at a low temperature, 300 degrees, and we're going to bake them for about 50 to 60 minutes. As soon as the custards are set, just barely jiggly in the middle. Now, to prevent these from over baking, custards are very delicate with those eggs and cream in there. We're actually going to bake them in a water bath, and that's simply just boiling water that's poured into the pan, and it comes halfway up the side of the ramekin. I like to do this when the pan is already on the oven rack. That way I'm not trying to manage a sloshing pan of hot water walking to the oven. So when our pot de crème come out of the oven, we cool them on a rack to room temperature. It takes about 30 minutes to an hour. And then we can put them in the refrigerator, chill them up to 4 hours or overnight, which makes this a great make-ahead recipe. Get it done the night before, and it will seem like an effortless dessert. We're gonna garnish with just a little whipped cream. Not too much, you already have plenty in the recipe. And then we can use some fresh fruit. You can use whatever type of berry you like. You can use blackberries, strawberries, raspberries. You could use passion fruit seeds, would be beautiful. We're just gonna do a couple strawberry slices. Just on top, which is beautiful. Or if you can find some edible flowers, just at the supermarket, usually in the herb section, they come in a little clamshell. And you can find a couple varieties, and what makes them edible is their variety, but also that they're untreated. And these have a slightly minty flavor, a little violet or a Johnny Jump Up. You can use a nasturtium, which has a spicier flavor, so a lot of things to explore with edible flowers. So there you are, your honey pot de crème.